Welcome to the Ground Up Podcast, coming to you from the Level Wellness Studio inside B2 Wellness Suites here in Brentwood, Tennessee, the show that turns pain into pivot and gives you the confidence to build your business. I am your host, Terry Bargy, and I'm here with Vanessa Hampton.
Hi.
And Roy Mangrum is actually literally, as we speak, giving CPR to his refrigerator. Roy, we miss you, and we wish you the best of luck with mouth-to-mouth. It's a picture right there for you. We are slap happy today.
It's
happening. We're approaching the holidays. It's been a great year. It's been a busy year. It's been also like everybody, it's a roller coaster of a year for us as well. And today we're going to reflect on the year. We're going to talk about vision casting for 2026, and we're going to share some cool things that are coming down the pike from us in 2026 as well. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm great, Terry. How are you?
It's a long-winded intro.
Yeah,
I was hoping to now let you speak for a minute so I can take a sip of my coffee.
Yeah, take a sip of your coffee.
Yes.
If you're here with us today, grab a cup of coffee, sit down for a fireside chat at Christmas time.
There is no fire.
We'll pretend.
Yes.
It's okay.
Much like we have been in our office with Christmas music for the last, week and a half?
Yeah, at least. Since Thanksgiving, I think.
Is it just me, or does December, once it starts, to me it feels like the longest month of the year, even though it's typically the shortest one for work?
I was actually just about to say, wait, was Thanksgiving just last week?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And it seems like Christmas is next week. I know that it's not, but it feels like it. So
right.
Yes.
There's something about it. I think it's ingrained in us from being children. The anticipation part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how come this month can't go faster, right? You're trying to rush to your, like my brain still thinks in that 2 week into December, I'm on Christmas break from being in school.
Oh, yeah.
Like my brain still kind of goes, no, there's actually 3 weeks of work you're going to do before you take off.
For me, it went from anticipation to, oh no, it's coming too fast. I'm not prepared. That seems to have gotten worse every year.
I had that thought in October, but here we are.
Here we are.
So if you're listening today and you're reflecting a little bit back on your business, this isn't, we do say this is an entrepreneurial podcast, but we hope that you find more value here. If you don't own a business, maybe you're in leadership at your current business and you're looking at the year and you're thinking about all of the changes that have happened. And there have been a ton. We had an election. We've had, we don't talk a lot about politics, but we have had things that affect the economy, which affect business, which affect jobs. When I do know, it's not lost on me that there are folks going through layoffs right now. And if you're not going through them right now, you may be going through them in the first of the year. That's a tough situation to be in. So maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking, I need to start thinking about what it looks like to build my business. So if that's you, you've come to the right place. We have a cornucopia of episodes to pull from.
A cornucopia?
Yeah, no one uses that word enough anymore. Kind of did that for Ezra, who was always giving me a hard time for using big words. And Ezra's sitting behind the mixing board.
Rolling his eyes.
Yes. Our producer, who was on us this morning for being a half hour late to start. So it's just been one of those days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Vanessa, in the year, I'd like to hear it from your perspective, because there's been, you actually changed my perspective quite a lot when, business beats me to a pulp. I'd like to hear your reflection on the year as it pertains to you personally and your businesses.
Crazy. So I think about the evolution of B2 in general. So much has happened this year, but the evolution of B2 in general, I opened in May of 2024. The first doors and then expanded in October a year ago, which seems crazy because it feels like a lot longer. And then January of this year, which seems crazy because the open house was just this year in January.
Yep.
And then April to Mount Juliet. So it feels like I've been in this for a long time just because from the day to day and there being so much about it. But I think about that. That just seems crazy to me that it's been less than a year for the last expansion here so far.
It also feels like that on my end. It feels like this is what you've been doing your entire life, because you do. I mean, you are quite natural at it.
Well, thank you. Sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it does not. Pro tip.
Yeah.
That's very normal.
Yeah. You don't, I think that's the thing that it's easy to think when you're behind a desk chair working for somebody else that you have to have it all together before you make that, jump. The best word picture I have for you with what it looks like to be an entrepreneur is you jump off a cliff and then you start building the plane.
I think that's so important to understand is that it does look from the outside, just like when you're looking at social media, you always get the good views and you think that everybody's got it or certain people have it together and they never have doubts or they never have problems that they're solving in their head or fears or anticipation and all of that is a soup in your
Yes.
brain, no matter who you are.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, no matter if you are one of the most successful business owners or if you are just starting out or anywhere in between, it's part of it. It's what you sign up for,
Yeah.
and everybody experiences it. And I think for me that helps a lot in going, oh, I'm not alone. It's not just me.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's been the overarching message of the year for the Ground Up podcast is that you are not alone, right? If you're out there and you're that entrepreneur who is, you don't have a community surrounding you. We know what you're going through for sure, and we are here for you too. So that loneliness can really make you feel especially low this time of year when it doesn't look like you're going to get a break, or you didn't end the year like you'd like to, in those ways. So what advice would you give to somebody who's in that world? Maybe this is, like you, they started a business this year, and they met some resistance, maybe hit a wall, and they're not heading into 2026 with the brightest, perspective.
Community in all things. Find your Terry.
Right here.
Find your Terry. Yeah, community. I think that's the biggest thing is in everything that we do. Community is always the overarching aspect of that, both I think personally and professionally. But when you are doing this so that you don't feel alone, so that you have somebody you can bounce ideas off or a network, it just makes everything a little bit lighter when you understand that there is other people doing the same thing and you don't have to figure it all out by yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's powerful. I think we've certainly found that in our relationship with Roy. There've been a few other individuals who were like, yeah, that guy's my people.
Yeah.
You see certain entrepreneurs out there that are doing it as a community and not as an individual. And that does take some tenacity to rip the Band-Aid off of, I guess getting uncomfortable, right? Pushing yourself out there a little bit. I heard that from a consulting client just this week. Like, I don't know what I would do. He says, I don't know what I'd do without you. I was like, you would be fine, but things would move slower, and you would there's potential to feel like you're alone. Like,
that was my world before I met you.
Yeah.
I mean,
same here. Like, we all go through it is the
Yeah.
point I'm trying to make. It's easier to go through it when there's a community built around, because you can lean on an individual who's been where you are. And then the fun part about that is that it comes full circle, and you can someone can lean on you in the future. And those things are powerful. So thankful for that, for me, for us, for our circle. Like, that's been pretty powerful. We know it's a thing for our clients. I love getting that response back from folks like, man, I always feel so much better after talking to y'all.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who we are as individuals and why we bonded so quickly, but being able to lift others up and support them in what you've already experienced and struggled through, there's nothing more gratifying to me.
Yes. That said, though, this year has not been without its pivot points, I think, for the both of us in our respective spaces. And I know it's not been that smooth for everybody, right? You do have to adapt. And I think that can be a stumbling block for folks if you don't think about it enough as a business owner. if you're a solopreneur and you're out there, those pivots feel more like
getting kicked in the gut.
Well, yeah, like
sometimes.
But almost like I got to run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fear takes over. This is not what I expected. This is not what I anticipated. It's not meeting those expectations. Yeah. And then, oh, well, I need to, it's not going to work.
It's really hard to not believe that voice in your head that says, why did you ever do this? Why don't you go back to, whatever you were doing before? And then on the other side of that, sometimes you could live, in that fantasy world of I'm going to force this idea until it happens and not pay attention to the point where this is where you would pivot.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the year in review. Even for Nashville Fit, like we had big ambitions of being a marketing agency. And even for us, we thought, well, let's change up how we do this. Let's actually listen to our customers, because the scope of what that looks like has shifted in the last year, 18 months, as far as how marketing is done. Right. So we learned pretty early on that community-based marketing is where it's at, but what does that look like and how do you define said thing? So we've spent time trying to serve our clients, but it's also trying to be adaptive.
Well, yeah. And move with the needs,
Yeah.
because we are having to move with what is happening with other companies and other entrepreneurs and other businesses as their needs shift. So, yeah.
It's hard to see it when you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It really is hard to see it when you're by yourself. It's, I can definitely admit to this or attest to it that it's been shifting or pivoting. Sometimes I do it kicking and screaming. It's not something you're just like, well, now's the time to pivot. Like you wake up that day and you're feeling great about where you need to go next. Sometimes that does happen. But most of the time it feels like you're being beat about the head and neck with your decisions. But pivots were made and things are evolving in, I think, a very positive way. If you close yourself off to what that looks like, to, evolve or move with your industry, you can miss some really cool things. Like we could have missed doing the Rise Up event.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and I think that it is understanding, you talked about forcing things. I think it's understanding that you need to embrace what your natural abilities, talents, skills, what you're good at, what feels right, and no matter what business you're in, and move with that business into those things. Because when you're trying to force something, number one, it doesn't feel good. Number two, fighting for something and forcing something are two different things. So understanding how to differentiate between those two things is important, and understanding who you are and what you're going to bring to the table, because people see that.
Sure. I want to talk. I want to get you to open up more about that. I don't want to do it before as we're approaching a break, because it's coming. They're about a minute out, but
it's on the clock.
Yeah, always one on the clock over there. Those are the powerful things. Those are the things that make leadership. They do make it difficult. They definitely make it feel lonely, because what you see behind the scenes of your own company, what you see in trends for where your industry is going and how that looks to outsiders of your, of that space, which could be your staff. It could be even some of your clientele or your friends and family. You could look crazy. So it's
true.
Yeah, it's hard to feel like you can unload that and it's going to get that reception that you're looking for. And that's where leadership is the most lonely. And we're going to I want to unpack that and, get into a little bit more detail of what that looks like. And we'll do that on the backside of this break. So we're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors.
At Optimize You, we believe that normal is not optimal. Whether you've been dabbling in hormones or this is your first time and you want to know where to get started, we make the hormone optimization process very simple. Simply get started with comprehensive labs, and our providers will take it from there with you to review where you are right now and where you want to be to ultimately help you achieve your health and performance-related goals. So from our expertise in hormones, peptides, all the way to recovery services, we want you feeling at your optimized best so that you ultimately feel better physically, mentally, and sexually. Just like hormones playing a significant role in the overall optimization of your health, so do recovery services help your body on a cellular level. From our sensory lounge to our infrared sauna, full body red light, full body cryotherapy, cold plunge, we have a wide range of performance recovery services just for you.
Ezra also gives me a sigh during every break because I can't figure the clock out. Like,
Dad.
a little behind the scenes here. We try to watch the clock so that we can make our breaks nice and clean here. And I want to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsors and our advertisers, like Level Wellness. Level Wellness just opened in Franklin, and their business is awesome. They offer everything from a community workspace to they've got organic aesthetic products, like they can do facials and things like that. It's just a quality business with very awesome professionals down there at Level Wellness. So make sure you check them out, give them a follow on Instagram. And when you do go see them, let them know that Nashville Fit sent you. We were super thankful for Level. So before the break, we were talking about unpacking what it looks like to kind of know when that shift needs to happen in your business. So timing is important, but it's not necessarily everything. So in your experience, what has helped you know when to say when on an idea or a path forward?
That is difficult because I am very much, when I have an idea, I want it done now. So trying to be patient and understand where I'm at, sitting with that for long enough is more of a learned thing that I'm getting better at. But I just like everything else that I do, it is always, we've talked about, I wake up in the mornings with problem solving and clarity and things that are going on in the background. It happens a lot.
Yes, I get several emails before the sun comes up.
I mean, so I think for me, it's more of trusting my brain to work through those things, even when I don't have the answers, trying to be comfortable with sitting with that. So I don't have a good solid strategy for that. It's just trusting my instincts and giving myself enough time to work through that. What about for you?
Kicking and screaming, remember. It's sometimes really hard for me to give up on a direction. I shouldn't even really say sometimes. I've not been good at it in the past. I'm trying to get better at doing it sooner.
Well, and we've talked a lot about the differences in the way that we think. I'm more right here and now and what feels right in the moment, and you are more, and I don't know if that's a male-female thing or if that's just our personalities, but Terry is more think ahead and end result type person, and I am more about right here and now, where I'm at in the journey.
Yeah, and we've talked about those leadership styles in the past on past episodes, and it's worth revisiting, the sense of like visionary integrator or administrator or whatever, like however you want to put those words, introvert, extrovert, practiced extrovert, all those types of things come into play here for sure. The vision. So I have gotten through leadership in the past by looking at everything as if it was a problem so that I can go and try to create a solution for it, because for whatever reason, that puts me in that fight or flight, which forces an idea out of me. And I think the biggest thing I've learned this year that's not a healthy thing.
Yeah, that's more of survivor mentality.
Yeah, it's not a good space to stay in. Yeah. For your overall health, right? So trying to be a little bit better about the here and now, and not trying to find something wrong with every dang thing in order to find a solution to those things, right? So looking at that differently. So looking at it more through the eyes of efficiency, profitability, and then obviously this is not necessarily an order of priority. Impact, like impact matters. Matter of fact, impact matters so much that it has actually brought fresh life to what the vision is for Nashville Fit specifically, and really helped us, get into things that we probably wouldn't normally have thought about.
Well, and that is the root of, I know why where I started finding my passion was through helping others, lifting them up and supporting them in everything that I've done along the journey. If I go back and look at it, it started as the individuals that I was helping with personal training, and then being able to, how do I help more people with only one of me? That's where my team started coming in. And then how can I make a bigger impact in the everyday health of people? And that's when I added massage. And then all of that experience when I opened B2, it's just an extension of that, because now I can support those who are supporting others on a bigger level with the Rise Up event. Now you can take all of your experience and the connections that you have and all of that and make that impact that you're talking about. So that's, if you get back to the root of things, sometimes stepping back and taking a picture, looking at the whole of it to come out of the everyday grind of what you're trying to achieve, either from, your livelihood or the business being on a little bit of a roller coaster, or wherever you're at in that moment, taking a step back and seeing why you started this in the first place can give you a fresh perspective of where you need to be going to.
Yeah. And I would say a big piece of advice that I would hand out is like, put yourself in position to be surprised. Right.
Love that.
Because I think we accidentally did that. That's how the Rise Up event became a thing, is that we put ourselves in a position to, let's see what it looks like to get on the Metro Health Council. Like, how do we have a voice? Who can we talk to? What does it look like to make the city healthier?
Yeah.
Right? To me, that was like, I got to swim upstream here a little bit and, maybe rub shoulders with some of the people that are in this space already, but doing it from, a governmental level.
Well, that goes back to you setting those expectations. For this one, you had to get comfortable with, well, I don't really know what to expect, and I don't know where the end result is going to be, but I know that this is the next right thing that I'm supposed to be doing.
And we could have totally pieced out of that first meeting being like, well, this is not for us.
This has nothing to do with us.
But the second meeting was the one I got the light bulb moment, and that definitely gave birth to the Rise Up Nashville event, and I was surprised.
Yeah.
Point being, there are also times where I think that you have an idea or a gut feeling, and I'm looking at you with this, and you don't know how it's going to, or where it fits, but you have the feeling, and you trust that. You typically trust that feeling, and you do it anyway. Describe that, because you do it better than me. Because it's presence, right? It's trying to be in the here and now. What am I feeling here and now? One, how do you vet it? And then two, how do you act on it? And what's been your outcome?
Well, I feel things so strongly when it hits me that's where that I want to do it right now comes in, which is good. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that I do need to be more patient, because there are some things that I can miss in that if it feels really good in this moment. Okay, well, maybe there's some things that I don't have all of the information on that I need to hold off on. So I've gotten better at just being a little more patient, or asking for more information before I actually execute, even if it just feels like the exact right thing. But the other part of that is knowing yourself. I go back to that because I know where my particular strengths are. I also know things that are not going to feel good to me later, or things that are sticking points with me. And so that helps me vet those as well, of how to do it, or if I should do it, because I know exactly who I am and my responses to certain things. So I think that's a big tip that we could give people, is knowing yourself as you're running a business, because you are your business when you are an entrepreneur. As you go into it, when you bring more people, then you bring different dynamics to it. But as a solo entrepreneur, you are bringing your personality to it. And that makes a huge difference in knowing yourself when those shifts should happen, etc.
I think that's where if you're starting a business coming from a corporate background,
Mm-hmm.
where you have the leg up, like specifically you and Roy, you both come from regular 9 to 5s, like a corporate setting
Mm-hmm.
where and I bring that up to say is that y'all understand, at least the corporate jargon is what are your core competencies?
No doubt. My business background, everything I learned in all of that time that I was in finance, that I learned a lot of different skills and things that I bring to the table as a service professional and being able to run a business, which is unique for a lot of service professionals, because you find a lot of service professionals that are really, really good at what they do, but they don't have the business experience. And that's where we come in. But that's exactly what, right.
Yeah, but I think the thought process is with entrepreneurs, and I know this because it was probably mine in the very early stages back in 2009, is that we can be anti-corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And you throw out the baby with the bathwater and you forget, but there's some actually really good tools in corporate wasn't always corporate. They didn't start there, but once they got there, efficiency equals understanding vision and where you're going, understanding systems and processes, and understanding core competencies, and right people in the right positions doing the right things.
Yeah. And corporate doesn't have to mean cold. It doesn't have to mean lacking creativity. It doesn't have to mean any of those things. It just means having a good, strong foundation of systems and processes, which is what corporate does really, really well.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a separator for having a service, like being a service provider or being an actual business. Because the service provider is really tricky to scale without repeatable.
You are your business.
Yeah, without repeatable outcomes. And if you're a solopreneur, you're not writing a system and a process for yourself. Typically, you're not.
Well, you're doing it. You're probably not writing it, but you are doing it.
You're living it out.
If you're getting clients to come back, there's something you're doing with your routines that are systems and processes that you need to grow. If you are going to grow a team or scale it, then those things, you expand on those things.
100%. And that is how you expand your staff, right? Like there's a lot of you like, well, I need to hire, but every time I hire, I don't get the outcome from said individual. It's like, well, maybe if we zoom out for a second and we think about what it is that you do that keeps people coming back, that gets your 5-star rating or makes people excited about working out with you. Some of that, I'm using a gym as an analogy here, but this is really in any profession. Whatever it is that creates a repeatable client needs to be systematized. And then once you systematize it, then you train that individual, but that's where the core competency comes in. It's like, you're going to know if you got somebody that can be detail oriented and that is willing to dial in on said process. Right.
Yep.
And then we have something that we can build on. Then the scalability is another conversation. Because obviously you want to get that individual doing what you're doing so that you can move the needle.
Yeah, and staying away from the mindset of, well, every time I do the victim mentality of every time I hire somebody, they just don't. They just don't.
Yes.
They just don't.
Right.
Well, that's what being a leader is all about.
Yeah.
You figure out, it starts with you. So you figure out what needs to change with either the people that you're hiring or how you are putting these things in place or the standards that you are setting. And that's where you'll start to see a different result from that.
Yeah. And there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Simplicity. No, it is complicated. It's a lot because those things deserve their own time blocking on your calendar.
This circles back to that whole, how do you know when to pivot?
Yeah.
Part of the weight that comes in pivots is when you do build a team and you do have people that depend on you. It's not just you that you're making these decisions for. So it is a heavier weight, and those do play into when you're making those decisions to pivot.
Yeah, for sure. It does. That produces other things that will need to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So forecasting is important and vision is important. But without foundation, they can be useless, right? Or have less impact. So foundationally, who are you? Are you process oriented? Are you detail oriented? Or is there some repeatability here? Is there what is that? How's that equal profitability? Mm-hmm. And then if those things are in play, well, then we can cast vision for the future based off of said foundation. as opposed to looking ahead so far that your foundation has to shift entirely.
Yeah.
And that is where pivot equals pain and not pain equals pivot. So we want you, that is a very important dynamic shift.
Mm-hmm.
Been guilty, for sure been guilty. Vision is so broad and so big that it foundationally isn't supported. So getting people to want to activate on vision that where they're not feeling supported in the everyday is impossible. It will never work.
It's a balance.
Yeah, it'll never work. And then you're having that conversation of, oh, why every time I hire so and so,
right,
and then we're in that pain point. All right, we're gonna quick break, and we'll be right back, and we're gonna go a little bit into how this helps you plan for the future. I always feel like a rock star when I hit go on the clock and it goes straight out, as Ezra says, and go. Again, too much behind the scenes knowledge for you guys watching.
Lots of reps.
Sorry. Hey, guess what? 2026 Music City Fit Expo is coming your way. The registration is open for both tickets, and you can do that on Sweat Pals. Check out musiccityfitexpo.com for that. And we're now accepting vendors and sponsors for the expo. So if you are trying to get the best space possible, well, guess what? The earlier the better, and now is your chance. So if you want to do that, head over to the musiccityfitexpo.com or shoot us an email, info@nashvillefitmagazine.com, and we'll get you squared right away. We'll answer all your questions, and we'll get ready for the biggest fitness expo in the South coming in June this year. So more information on that. We're going to talk about it a lot in the coming year. Speaking of the coming year, we've laid the foundation for what it looks like to have a good foundation. So what does vision look like for 2026? So in the past, for you, Vanessa, in what you, from Body Well to B2 Wellness, even Body by V.
Body Balance with V.
Same thing.
No, everybody called it Body by V. No, it's not.
I thought
Body
you did.
Balance with V.
Body Balance with V. Oh, well, that does sound better.
There is some other business that is close to Body by V because I've had people make checks to that before.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's where I'm getting confused. We don't talk about it a lot, so there's also another good reason why.
Body Balance with V was my OG business
Yes.
that is now Body Well, rebranded.
So when you're doing vision for the next year, and I encourage everybody to do this, especially if you've got a team, but it's even really good to do for your own dang self because you're setting goals, right? So in goal setting and vision casting for the next year, what is one of the things that you start with?
Well, I would love to say that has been a big practice of mine in the past, but it honestly has not, if I am being real. I have done a little bit of that, but it's more of, as we've talked about, my weaknesses are in planning. It's more of moving through it. So I don't have a good process in place. This will be the first year that I am slowing down enough to look at what does that look like and start to try to take that longer term view for the year. So I actually do have goals. And I have a lot of ideas. We talk about ideas all the time. We have what we refer to as the Idea Hub office over there. So we throw around a lot of ideas, but prioritizing those, because I do have the personality, and I know you do too, of get it done now, implement it now. Prioritizing what that looks like. What do I really want to accomplish this next year versus what is a 3 to 5 year goal?
Yeah.
Because all of those, until I start to really sit down and put them on a vision board or put them on paper for when do I want to address those, they sit here like, I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. So that's where I start with that.
And I think that's there's a few things you said there that are key for goal setting. 5 year, 3 year, 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
They will change. That's okay. But it's important to have them. It's important to set goals. I don't live much in the world of manifesting, but I know the industry does a lot, and I don't discount having a vision and making it known and putting it on a piece of paper. There is something to it. I don't think it's as spiritual as we tend to make it.
I agree.
But I don't think it needs to be argued about either. Like, if it works for you, it works for you. Don't really care. But
It's for some people, it's accountability.
right.
So if you really want it, then it's accountable. When you put it out there, it's accountability to yourself. It's on the paper.
Well, it's the same thing that's why counseling works. It's why food journaling works.
Yeah.
It's why journaling in general works, right? Is that once it comes, it's even why when I hear from my consulting clients that, oh man, I feel so much better. Well, it's just because you voiced your concerns. Right. You took them out of your head and you put them out into the ether, and then we worked through them. That is an actual practice that you're doing in a goal setting sense that's more positive than negative. And then it will produce steps. So setting goals is important, and you want to set the best system for this is the SMART goals. And they're measurable, they're attainable, right? Like there's a level of all that stuff that's really important, because it gives you some sort of excitement when you get to the attainable part, right?
What is the SMART? It's set, measurable, attainable.
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Measurable, attainable, realistic timelines?
That's pretty close.
We're going to go with it.
This is what happens when you don't prep for your podcast and remember to write these things.
Throw it out there.
I'm running off my right now. I'm running off my memory of it. The idea, though, is like what I want to focus in on is measurable. If you're setting a measurable goal, a 1-year goal, then every quarter should have an indicator, right? There should be something saying, "Hey, I'm heading towards that goal."
Yeah, don't make it too broad.
Or I need to readjust said goal.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like for you? Like, what's attainability look like for you?
It's the whole, even if you're a personal trainer, you want to, or you have goals in a fitness realm, it's the same thing. You want to set those. You don't want to say, oh, well, I want to be thinner. Okay. That's such a broad goal.
Please elaborate.
You need, right. You need to, well, what do I really want? Give it more of the particulars.
Yes.
And then how am I going to get there? Make it realistic, make it achievable so that you can have those wins along the way.
Yeah. As
you're setting these goals for 2026. It works the same no matter what type of goals you're setting.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I wanted to jump in on that. That's a programming note. We talk about fitness because we're in the industry the most, and what you all need to remember when you're watching the show is that all these foundational business things are very similar across all industries. From setting goals to understanding what a service is as opposed to a scalable business, to understanding systems and processes and scalability. It is the same across most platforms.
And corporate, big business, that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does work in that sense. But what you said is something that I think is that you got to interrogate yourself, right? So let's use the skinny for example. Well, I want to be thinner. Okay. Why? Well, I don't like not fitting in my plane seat. Okay. Why? Well, because I feel self-conscious. Okay. Why? Well, because I don't feel healthy. Okay. Why? Well, because I'm eating these foods that aren't giving me energy and they're not helping me in the gym. Bingo.
Yeah.
Right? So keep whying yourself down to the actual
Get
rub.
to the root. Yeah.
Because it's not about being, in that moment you realize it's not about being thin. That right there is a vision cast on you. Right. And it's something you're being pushed through as opposed to something you can actually walk out that is your own. Right. That's the big difference. What part is that vision yours, or is that a societal or a cultural norm that you're trying to push the box you're trying to put yourself into? Yeah. So we don't like that question. We don't like that answer as trainers. Much like I'm sure a financial advisor doesn't like the answer of, well, I just want to be rich.
Right.
Right. Well, why? Well, I want to take care of my family. Well, why? Well, because my parents didn't take care of us. Well, why? Well, because they never had enough money.
Trying to get to
You
actionable.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Trying to get to what's actionable.
Yes. I know this, as I'm thinking in this, I know that this is the type of questioning that I do to my wife, and it drives her insane. I don't want to get to the root cause. The root cause produces an actual want to, and you have to have the want to, right?
Yep.
Help me with that, because we are different. The way we lead, we are different in our personalities. We are different in how we do business. But that right there is a common denominator. So what does that look like for you?
Explain to me what you mean.
What it looks like to get to that root cause, to get to that base. Like I just gave you how I do it. Like, how do you get to it?
Oh, digging into it in the same way.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Maybe not as forceful to my husband as you are to Carrie and digging in, but no, it's the same thing. If I'm struggling with something, a decision or a goal, it's what do I really want here?
Yeah.
What am I really trying to accomplish? And the why. What's important to me? Where are those values? So it's the same type of thing that you do.
Yeah. I think it's an important thing to do. It's good to get in a space where you can do it comfortably with somebody you trust.
And it gives you, it feels a whole lot better when you're getting to answers instead of just feeling confused.
Exactly. Because it's you can put yourself in that position and grill yourself and still not have the answers.
Yeah.
So that exercise is important. When we're also setting goals, I think setting financial goals is also an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're running your own business, that could look like a bunch of stuff, right? Like maybe you're already paying yourself a decent wage, which if that's you out there and you're running your own thing, congratulations. A lot of people don't see that for 4 or 5 years in.
Yeah.
And if you aren't there yet, stay the course, but set the goals, right?
Yeah, it can be intimidating just trying to figure out it. Some people are good at finances, some people are not, but even just thinking about small, it doesn't even, it may exceed an expectation, but it is important to set some sort of financial goals, even if they're small.
Yes.
So that you have something to aim for and can check the box and then create a more realistic picture about where you're at as you're hitting those goals.
Well, statistically speaking, what do they say? Most businesses are start and close within the first 3 years, or is it 2 years?
I don't know but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
But that was because there is a cultural norm of instant gratification, and it just doesn't apply in business unless you're leaping from a corporate situation and you're able to take clientele with you,
right?
Which is very rare, especially without a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So you have to have the brain of the long game.
Yeah.
You have to be able to see 12 months, 3 years, 5 years out, but you don't have to have it perfect.
Right.
So that is what I want to make sure people understand. So the financial goal, 3, 6, 9 months. 1 year, what does that look like for your business? And don't shortchange yourself. We talked to somebody this week about that. Like, did you write in pay for yourself? Oh no, should I do that? I was just going to take whatever was left over. I was like, well,
that's one way to do it.
That's one way to do it, but it's not a sustainable way to do it.
It's going to lead to burnout pretty quick.
It'll lead to burnout, and it will also cheapen your service, and then it's going to be harder to go back and raise your price. It will make those goals and growth a bit slower, but it's not impossible. I mean, if you're out there and you've already done that, that's your MO. It's time to raise your price.
Probably for most of us.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take care of yourself, right? You do have to write that in. I'm preaching to myself as I say that.
Yeah,
giving to my own detriment over here on the regular. But playing the long game I do want to go into that in depth a little bit more. That's why when you go from, and this is every business, and you all have to understand this, like sales isn't done how sales was done in the past. It's completely shifted. Marketing is not done how it has been done in the past. It is shifted. Probably not as completely as sales, but they are long form. Like You have to build the relationship. You must build trust. You must build loyalty. Then it's up to you to deliver on the rapport. Like, you have to do your part. You got to do what you say you're going to do. I pound that into my head of my kids all the time. Like, you want to be successful in business? It's easy. Industry wide. Show up when you say you're going to show up. Do what you say you're going to do. Right.
So true.
And then be respectful.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
you may not be the greatest at what you're doing. You may be good at it, but not the greatest. But those values and those things, they will take you much further.
Yeah, go back and watch the episode, or it's actually I think it was a 2-part episode of the 10 things that require no talent at all.
Yeah.
And they're all about work ethic and like the actual controllables.
Yeah.
So, focusing on that is really important. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back with our last segment, and we're going to put a bow on this because it's Christmas.
Tie it up.
And we're going to send it to you. All right. So we have discussed a ton of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
In a lot of depth.
It was all planned. Every bit of it.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to unpack, but I don't want anybody who's listening to this to feel overwhelmed. Is the point I'm trying to make. You do have support. Matter of fact, you have support no matter where you're at listening to this show. We would love to be there for you and walk with you through this. That is what we do. I know we do. You look at us as a marketing, or you look at us as a media company, or maybe just a magazine. We do live in the entrepreneurial consulting space. We do a lot of networking, and we do that out of a heart for entrepreneurs and knowing what that feels like. I think, how long have you been in business for yourself?
I think going on 16 years.
So you're 16, I'm 18. Roy's been in it for 12 years. So there's over 3 decades worth of experience.
Lots of experience.
That you can lean on.
Lots of mistakes.
Exactly.
Lots of successes.
And by no means is this a sales pitch, but it is also a call to action. So we are also working on new things in 2026 to help make that support feel more natural. So if you do live here locally in Nashville, the greater metropolitan area, we have WellPro Thrive. Tell everybody what WellPro Thrive does.
WellPro Thrive is born out of exactly what we're talking about here. It is a community and network of small business, wellness, fitness, and anybody that is looking to connect with that community or just find that support. We started that this year, and it has been incredibly well received. So if you're interested in finding out more, you can go to wellprothrive.com to see the events and what we have going on. And then how would they get in touch with you if they needed more business support?
That's easy. Just email Terry at NashvilleFitMagazine.com.
Easy.
Super easy. And if you're interested in maybe bringing a WellPro to your area, maybe a WellPro chapter to your space, let us know. That's something we'd love to talk to you about. Kind of give you our format for how we do it, and let's see, maybe there's a world where that works. We are all about collaboration over here, and we don't hold anything too tightly in that sense of trying to be inclusive in that way. So, also fun fact, I did finish writing my book
Whoop, whoop.
this year. So very excited to release/re-release. I went back and completely revised an old book of mine that was released during COVID and really kind of got lost because of COVID.
What prompted you to do that? Why'd you want to write a book?
For the same reason I have this podcast. Like, this podcast means a lot to me. Well Pro Thrive means a lot to me. Like, being able to consult and teach is a passion of mine. Sharing my story through the pivots that I've gone through in my 18 years of business. The book's called A Failure's Guide to Business Success.
I love that.
Because the failure part is what we feel, but the reality is that's the initial feeling to pivot. And you can't, it's about lessons. It's not about failure. So I'm sharing my lessons that I've learned through some of the pain that I've gone through so that you don't have to go through it. That's exactly why that book exists. And I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on it in 2026. Don't have a release date yet. There's still a lot to be worked out in that way. Sometimes I'm just excited to get it done.
Yeah. Check done.
Yes.
Goals. It goes back to those goals you set.
That's exactly right. And we also have some really cool guests coming on the show in 2026. And I'm not going to tell you one of them. I'm just going to bait you and tell you that we got some cool ones coming down the pike. Very excited about where this podcast is taking both our reach when it comes to being on the radio, as well as who we're able to bring on as guests. And there's some really cool ones coming. So look out for that. In the world of what we're doing in all the things health and wellness related, can you talk to everybody? I did not prep you for this off camera.
Oh, gosh.
So share with everybody what Bodywell does and how it can help their business or even their corporation, or maybe even their cul-de-sac in that sense. So,
Okay. Bodywell is fitness and massage. It started out as personal training and evolves to add massage. And what we do now, we are in communities and do fitness and wellness consulting for communities to bring programming to those communities. So that's one way that Bodywell can help if you have a community. Some of the 55 plus communities, any neighborhood that is looking for some programming in the fitness and wellness arena, we have experience in that and would love to help. And then we also do corporate wellness, corporate massage. We do a lot of that, if chair massage for events, any type of sports massage, table. We can bring a table into a gym. We collaborate with gyms and run massage offerings out of specific gyms. So that's a way that we can help if you have corporate needs as far as fitness trainers coming in, or really any kind of fitness and wellness needs where we can bring people in to fill those needs. That's what Bodywell does.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes in 2026, as we've only really chipped off a little bit of the iceberg on that, and already seen some really cool, exciting things start to happen. So I'm excited to be involved in it. You've been doing it for a while. So as we're landing the old plane, as Ezra rolls his eyes back there because he really hates that one.
Well, because you just said chip the iceberg.
Yeah,
we're doing lots of visuals today.
This is all for my son who really hates these. 2025, if we're putting a bow on it and we're leaving the people with something, what are 2, maybe 3 takeaways that you have for the year that has changed your perspective and maybe encouraged you that you want to share with folks?
Obviously, what we've talked about, partnership is important, whether it's paperwork involved or not. Having people that you do this with, even on a consulting type situation, I think it's super important. Trying to expand your thinking. We all think in certain ways, and opening yourself to different ways of thinking about your business, about where you're at and where you want to go, and actually thinking about all of those pieces when you don't, you may not tend to. That would be the other thing, is open up your mind to that. And then you change your perspective, change your universe. So
very true.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. Stop guilting me into it right now.
Come on, Terry. Lots of lessons learned this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely lots of lessons. Lots of good
Mhm.
too. Which helps you learn the lessons, and I guess in a way that feels a little less painful. Perspective shift is a thing, right? We do hear it a lot. Sometimes it comes out very, very cheesy from your trainer or from your therapist or from an Instagram channel that you're following. But the one that's sticking with me recently is if it's raining, you can either get wet or you can dance in the rain. It's up to you.
I love that
Either
so
way.
much.
Either way, you're wet. So
Yeah. Enjoy it or not, but
or
your
not.
perspective is, I mean, that's one of the controllables.
That's exactly right.
Sometimes it takes a while to get there, but keep working on it. That's where other people coming into play, writing these things down, casting visions, that sort of thing. Perspective is everything.
It really is. Things happen for you. They don't happen to you. Like, adopt it, understand it, lean into it. It's difficult, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth the effort. Mine, what I want to leave with folks is, one, I got to stop saying folks in 2026. I'm really making myself sound like
We talked on another podcast the other day about
65
words we
over
want to
here.
let go.
Yeah, that's the one for me. I am always going to stand on the podium of collaboration is king, collaboration over competition. The scarcity mindset is dead and dying. If you want to engage there, be careful. That ship is sinking. But collaboration isn't easy either. So collaboration will cost you something, and it's typically worth the expense. But don't go into it thinking that it's easy, but go into it thinking of, how can I help? Open hands.
All the people.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just, how can I help? Be willing to work with your neighbor, even though their business looks like yours. Be willing to work with really anybody and see where it takes you. You will be surprised, as I have been. It's not something that I say without feeling. We've felt all the feels. We know that it does. There is a cost associated to it, but we are stronger because of it.
Absolutely.
We are wiser because of it, and the impact is
greater.
Insane.
Yeah,
like, the impact is insane, and you're going to see it in 2026. So we're excited for that. So, guys, we appreciate you as always listening to the Ground Up podcast. Whether you're catching us on the radio on WNSR or you're catching us on the NFM Podcast Network, we are thankful. So, on behalf of the said NFM Podcast Network, spread the positive. Ezra Bargy, who is behind the mixing board, myself, Vanessa, and Roy, we thank you for your continued support, and we ask that you, if you found it valuable at all, that you share it with your friends. Make sure you like and subscribe. Please check out our sponsors. Again, Level Wellness, the Music City Fit Expo, Defiance Fuel, Black Rifle, Optimize You, some of our really powerful partners here. We can't do it without them, and we can't do it without you. So we are super grateful and very humbled by that. Guys, have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll catch you in 2026.